are quite good. Attack warning. Is it for real? Attack warning. It's for bloody real.
Live from Colorado Springs, the Drop Culture Podcast.
Want to confirm, is this an exercise? Roger, copy. This is not an exercise.
Come on, quick, get down. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome, everybody, to the Drop Culture Podcast. This is that podcast where we pick up that piece of pop culture you forgot about or missed, shine it up real nice, and cram it in your ear holes. And this week, Brock and Dan are bringing you Battle Beyond the Stars.
A magnificent movie.
1980.
From 1980. 1980 had some winners.
It did.
And this one right here was no exception.
Well, was it? No, well.
Was it? Was it really?
I don't know.
I don't know. It was pretty fucking crazy.
We will let you, dear listener, make that decision.
Well, I actually thought it was called Battle of the Birthmarks for a little while. Because Sador, the main bad guy,
yes,
and Shad, the main good guy,
Shad,
they both had birthmarks.
Yes.
You know? And I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. But if for those that haven't seen this movie so far, and thank you for tuning in and listening, right? You have a choice, and you chose the Drop Culture Podcast, right? So thank you.
What he said.
So Battle Beyond the Stars is a Roger Corman movie.
Yes.
Set in a galaxy far, far away.
Before we get too far into the movie, Brock, I think what we should do, if you haven't seen the movie, now's a good time. You could pause this if you wanted to and watch it free on Tubi or on YouTube. There you go.
Yep, right there.
And now we're back. All right.
So it's the Magnificent Seven
100%.
Mixed with Seven Samurai
100%.
Mixed with what was
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Yes. Great premise.
Yeah.
You got to think. I mean, the stories that we've gotten from Seven Samurai or anything surrounding that, those old samurai movies, have influenced popular culture in a way that one of the principals in this was actually in another movie that was inspired by,
yes,
playing the same fucking character. So
for sure,
it is a great story. It's a Three Amigos story. If you haven't seen that, El Guapo wants to take over the fucking deal. See,
yeah,
right
absolutely.
there, comedy, fucking action, whatever. Yul Brynner. Fuck,
there
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I would have liked to see Martin Short and John Boy's role.
Oh, that would be the shit. That would have been awesome. He's like, just let me do it.
We just made a better movie.
Go. I mean, fucking, I would have been totally cool with that.
Right.
But it was John Boy Walton.
Yeah. Which, fine. He did a great job.
So
being John Boy Walton.
So let's take all of this,
yes,
right, that I just spewed out right there, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's a big cauldron, and you throw Roger Corman in there, and you throw the fucking, some really weird sci-fi kind of edgy stuff.
Right.
You throw in the Magnificent Seven, you throw in the fucking Seven Samurai, you mix it all up.
And then you sprinkle the little bit of budget you get.
Yes. That's the flavor. Is you get like a pinch of salt. And it's a pinch of actual budget.
Yes.
So you get a $2 million budget, right? To make something huge like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right? Not going to happen.
Right.
But for Roger Corman, it did. That's what you get. That's what you get in this. So if we've already covered Death Race 2000.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the people that are in these movies actually either directed or were in the movies that we've done.
Did we do Roger Corman's Fantastic Four?
No,
we talked about it.
Yeah, not yet.
Sorry.
Yeah, not yet. I mean, even the director of this directed Heavy Metal.
Yes.
So, which is really fucking cool because
check the archives for that too.
There you go. See, I mean, they were taking chances, and James Cameron was on this movie. He worked in the pretty much the art department, and then they gave him the job to do set design and pretty much do everything as a kid.
How awesome, dude!
Right. And
so, real quick, I want to segue for just a second, and I'm going to go on a small little tangent. Not long ago, we were talking about how cool it would be to have worked on one of Corman's movies.
Right. You could
do that. And it's weird that then we went into this movie and we were like, holy shit. James Cameron, that's what happens.
Yeah. It was like, you give somebody like James Cameron popsicle sticks, a fucking couple of sails off a sailboat, and you're like, fucking make me a ship with great tits. And he fucking delivers, man. I mean, for real. Like, I mean, there's a lot of cliched shots like the opening crawl, but it wasn't a crawl of that, but it was just the crawl of the ship going by. You don't see the Cameron sci-fi aliens type shit. There's not a lot of rounded corners like there were in Aliens, right? You look at Aliens and it looks like it was real military tech as far as like the Hueys and the troop transports, different things like that. They were rounded in the middle, just like the nose was rounded. In the Avatar movies and everything like that, he uses that same aesthetic. So you could see getting started with something like this, and then eventually,
boobs.
And eventually,
boobs. That's how it starts.
Yeah, but
that was a young James Cameron.
Yeah, I mean Roger Corman liked that. I think.
Yeah, he's like, let's go.
He's like, whoa, spaceships are just gross looking, and then he's like, hey. What if you had a ship with big tits? He's like, fucking dude.
He's like, I really like them with curved designs.
Yes. And Cameron's like, where do I put the nipples?
That's right.
That's the first thing I thought. That ship coming out of the hangar, I was like, damn, those are some nice tits.
And you know what? You know what's weird? 100%, dude. Like, you cannot not think that.
Right.
And somewhere Schumacher, as a young man, was like, that's where you put the nipples.
Yes. There it is. There it is. Oh my God, it was fucking hilarious. There's so many funny things about this movie, and what I love about the movie is the commitment from everybody. Nobody half-assed it.
No, not at all.
The one commander guy, the pig-looking dude, he actually half-assed it at one point. I loved it. He couldn't control the volume of his voice.
Yeah.
It was fucking so good. So many times he's like, get out there and go get that. What? He's like, this is our emissary. They dusted him. He throws the shit at him. But he half-assed it in the final battle scene when they're fighting in the trenches, right?
Right.
Papard's there and everything. Cowboy.
That's George Papardin.
Yeah. Pardon me.
Pardon me. You're jumping the gun.
So he has his leather mask on leading the troops, but you can see he doesn't have his appliance makeup on.
Right.
I'm like, the whole time I'm like, is that the same dude? Is that the same guy? Because he doesn't have his makeup on. Nobody's really going to notice that, are they? Yeah, somebody would notice that. I did. So, I mean, John Saxon. There's so many people.
Yeah, for
in this
sure.
Movie. Of course, we can start with your principals. You know, the director Jimmy T. Murakami.
Yeah.
Heavy metal.
Yes.
Roger Corman is listed as a director, but he's more of a producer on everything anyway.
Agreed.
And of course, I mean, we already did Death Race 2000. Now, here's a little bit of connective tissue for James Cameron, too. The writer, one of them, is John Sayles. He did Piranha. He wrote it. The Howling, 8 Men Out, which was like, what?
Yeah, that's 8 Men Out of left field is what that was.
That was, right? Shoeless Joe fucking Jackson, right?
That's right.
And they got hosed on that one. And I believe that because of this movie.
Because I grew up with movies.
Yeah. So Piranha leads to Piranha 2, which is James Cameron's first movie.
That's right.
The second writer on this was
Spawning.
Yes. So fucking bad. Ann Dyer. That's pretty much all she did. I didn't see anything else.
No, that's it.
So when it comes down to, because I didn't see any DOP, I didn't see any of that stuff like that. You know?
Right.
I don't think there really was. You know? It's like who do we list as director of photography? I don't know.
It was probably just Corman. And
Yeah.
he's like, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Corman never was really there during shooting.
No,
I think he just showed up like he did on everything he's done.
Yeah.
He wrote Little Shop of Horrors, the movie.
Right.
But I don't think he did the play, because it was a play before, wasn't it?
100%.
I don't remember. I really don't. But let's start with our number one dude, Shad, played by Richard Thomas.
That's right. You may know him as John Boy Walton for his leading role.
Or he was in the original 2-part miniseries, It.
That's right.
And the thing about that is when I was looking through his credits, right? I'm thinking, holy shit, I've seen this dude my whole entire life.
Oh, yeah. He's been in everything, dude.
But when you look at his movie credits, you're like, not many.
No, it's mostly TV stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which makes sense. That's where he came from, you know?
He was like one of those last generation TV guys. So if you think about in the 70s and the 80s, everybody that we're going to talk about on here was in everything from the 60s, from the 50s, all the way up until this movie. As far as like television, CBS television, shit like that, right? They were contract players.
Right.
And really in the 80s, you still had those young kids like him, you know, the John Boys and the Little House on the Prairie and everything like that, right? So where else were they going to go? Because movies at that point still hadn't turned that deal going from TV to movie. If you were a TV actor, you stayed on TV.
Right.
So I think he was one of those last bastions of that generation and way of thinking, you know, whenever he got in. So he wasn't really privileged with a lot of great movies.
Right. He's a Dollar General version of Michael Landon.
Oh my God, yes. There's nothing wrong with him.
No, dude, I like that.
Nothing wrong with his acting. But it's like he was on the B team.
Yeah.
He was the best player on the B team. No. Because fucking there's so many good actors in this movie.
I know, there really are.
So now we're coming up to our second principal, George Papard. Yes. Everybody knows him as Colonel Hannibal Smith on the fucking A-Team, right? I love it when a plane comes together. And one of my favorite roles, and one of the only things I really recognize him in. But the one movie that still blows my mind that he was in, Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah.
Ever since I watched that 20-something years ago, I was like, that's fucking Hannibal Smith. What's he doing in this?
Well, I think anybody that like was watching A-Team as a kid, that's like, I mean,
come on,
that's the first time you ever saw that guy.
Fucking Hannibal Smith was the shit.
Yeah.
Especially when
he loves it when a plan comes together. Yeah. He smokes his cigar.
He pulls the hood off, and it's him in the alligator suit, you know, or the Godzilla suit, you know, smoking. Yeah. And then you get to see fucking face, and he looks over and at the Cylons, and he's like, "Huh."
I'm 100% that's where they got the whole idea for the cigar thing in Independence Day.
Probably. Yep, because it's at the very end. Love it when a plan comes together. Yep. And so Will Smith takes down one alien ship that was limping at the back of the herd, right? He's like, fucking welcome to Earth. Take out the fucking one that just started yesterday. He's like, I don't know my targeting system. There's a dude at Jet, he's really good.
I love Papard's character, Cowboy, though.
Cowboy.
He's the only human, right?
He's the only person from Earth.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Earth human, yeah.
Yeah, so a Terran, I guess.
Yeah.
Which he's a space truck driver.
Yeah.
That is the shit.
Of course he is.
It's better than the Dennis Hopper space trucker movie, you know what I mean? But
that wasn't hard.
but what's really cool is he it's like he embodies that character.
100%, dude.
He looks like he sweats whiskey in the shower. You know what I mean?
For sure.
While he's smoking.
That's right.
I mean, never.
I think he just showers in whiskey.
Yeah, I don't think he ever gets really clean. You know, because he's wearing fucking chaps.
Yeah, chaps, and he's got that cool belt.
Yeah, no, the belt with the fucking automatic liquor in it.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want one of those?
I don't know. I don't drink that much, but it would be fun at parties, I guess. Yes. I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, and he even falls prey to the hamming it up part.
Sure.
You know, whenever he takes that one drink because he knows he can't get out of there. It's like, well, shit. Fuck. What I never understand about space movies, right, is it seems like there's only one place on the fucking entire Earth or planet that they can enter or leave.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what if you flew to the other side and then took off from there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Would that make sense?
Perhaps.
Right. Why is there always a rebel blockade or some shit?
Like strategically, it would make way more sense for you to drop off a small army of folks to have them go and attack on land. And then while all that's happening, you come in with your spaceships and just start.
Right.
You win.
Right. There you go, buddy. Because
Game over, bitches.
yeah, I mean, he wasn't a very.
You can look at the planet for a minute and find your strategic point. You know, you want a flat point. You want to come up.
Yeah.
You want to come from the top. What do you want?
Just go around it.
Yeah, whatever.
Go to the other side.
Or anything really.
Then you can
drop
come
them off
back over.
400 yards away. It's fine.
Something. But what does he say? He's got the largest collection of Western movies
Yeah,
in the galaxy or some shit like that.
I'm sure he does. He seems like he's the only tearing around.
Yeah. So, I mean, he spent most of his time just fucking watching movies and trucking, smoking and drinking. Shit, and I mean,
that's his life, dude. That kind of sounds like something you'd be very happy about. So let's be real.
Yeah, I think. I mean, especially if your joystick for your whole entire ship is upside down.
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't it be?
You're holding it from the top. Like, I can't see past it. How do I see around this fucking thing? What am I doing? I'm George Papard. My impression. So then we have Robert Vaughn.
Robert Vaughn is, I think, one of my favorite characters in this movie.
Oh, committed as a motherfucker. Gelt. I mean, the dude puts in a powerhouse performance. Monologue.
As Robert Vaughn always does. Yeah, and if you're not familiar, we're speaking of Robert Vaughn from basketball fame. You know.
That would be one of the only things that anybody that doesn't know Magnificent Seven
Right,
and all that
right.
shit like that, they're going to know that.
I was just throwing that out there for something different because there is so much stuff. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. probably is like one of his more iconic roles as well.
That was I think the biggest one, really. He did Delta Force, On the A-Team, Mag 7, Chud 2, which we covered. Check the archives.
That's in a Droppin' Deuces
Yeah.
series.
And Superman 3. He was a bad guy.
Yeah,
with the
that's
fucking,
right.
He was the one that was with Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
When Richard Pryor fell 400 stories off a fucking building on skis and lands.
May I say, the worst Richard Pryor movie ever.
Great start. He's like, what? You just shave off these little bit of money and you get this. He's a fucking computer programmer before there was computer programmers. He was smart. It was cool. Fuck you, Will Smith. Richard Pryor did that shit first.
That's right.
So, yeah, his character Gelt is, he's just he's the ultimate merc.
Yeah.
He's got everything he wants. He just needs rest.
So he has a whole town or whatever, or outpost or whatever.
Gambling place that they had to bury and shit. Yeah, we'll talk about that too. Then you got the legendary John Saxon, which just died, what was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
Because one of these, somebody on here also died this year too. But John Saxon, he was Enter the Dragon. Come on.
For sure.
A Nightmare on Elm Street series.
Yep.
1, 3, and New Nightmare.
Right.
And then he was in a Dario Argento movie, Tenebrae. Or Tenebrae, or I don't know how you say it. So it was one of those old slashers. Those are the ones that I kind of wanted to highlight for him.
Okay.
Because he did a lot of shit too. He was everywhere. And you don't really realize, when I was a kid, I didn't really realize who he was when I saw Nightmare. Because I know I saw Nightmare before Bruce Lee.
Okay.
I know I did. So when I saw Bruce Lee, I was like, oh, shit. Wow.
Yeah, I would say that's probably the most iconic role to me.
Right. Right. Then you got Darlene Flugel. She was Nenalia.
Yes.
She wants to nail fucking Shad, what she wanted to do. She was on Pet Sematary 2.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in America. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry that nobody knows this, but Darkman 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nobody does know that.
No, because 4 people saw that. Most people have seen the trailer and they're like, nah, I don't want to watch it. No. So Nenelia.
Someday we'll have a new kind of dropping deuces series where we just drop threes.
Yes. So wasn't Nenelia? She was Hephaestus's daughter, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Hephaestus.
Then you got Sybil Danning, the B movie queen.
Yes.
Of her time and all time, with a great set of tits, almost as good as the ships.
I don't know.
It's a rough one on that one. I don't know what side to be on that's right.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think it's both. But she was on the Rob Zombie Halloween. She was a nurse. She was a naughty nurse or some shit. And The Howling 2.
Yeah.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
But
she's the best of the isn't it called like the sisters something?
I don't even know.
Sister of the Traveling Pants or something? I don't know. That's not it. I don't know.
She's a Valkyrie. A space Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That predates Thor. Her Saint X-Men. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They didn't really put a lot of thought into the planets and stuff. They're like, let's go to the Lambda Zone. For real.
Real quick, an aside. Howling 2 is Your Sister is a Werewolf.
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the name
I've been looking for that one for a while.
Oh, okay, well, if I see it, I'll throw it at you.
Let me know.
I'll grab it.
Then you got another iconic movie character, and that was the Doctor in The Day the Earth Stood Still, as Dr. Hephaestus, Sam Jaffe. He was in a lot of stuff.
He was in a lot of
stuff. Ben-Hur, I mean, A Tale of the Christ. Then he's basically like a manufacturer of weapons.
Yeah.
Hephaestus.
Yeah.
Come on.
A little on the nose. Little on the nose.
Oh, he makes weapons, huh?
Uh-huh.
Then you got Morgan Woodward. You don't see his face, but he was on Which Way Is Up with Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Logan's Run, and Cool Hand Luke. One of your favorite movies.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
He was Cayman, which...
he's like a lizard guy. He looks like a sarlacc.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah, Sleestack.
Sleestack, yeah.
And it's like they took half of the Sleestack mask and then they like cut some shit and they were like, all right, this looks good. Let's put one horn on your hand.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Which was fucking weird.
Right.
How would evolution work for that? I guess there's something on their planet that he had to scoop with a nail. You know what I mean?
I suppose.
And then he has five fingers on one hand. Yeah. It's like, okay. Which he's a badass. I mean, at least he acts like it.
Mostly.
And except for when he yells at the end. Like, dude, shut the fuck up.
You crying, bitch.
Now this guy, Earl Bowen, everybody knows this dude because he was the psychiatrist or psychologist in the Terminator movies.
Yes.
Terminator 1, Terminator 2, what was it, Terminator 3 or 4 or some shit like that. He has been in 3 of them, right?
I don't believe in any of those movies. I don't know what.
But he was also on Herman's Head.
Oh.
I saw that and I thought I had to highlight that because it was like, Herman's Head.
Man, I haven't seen that in
right. That was the most
drop
unusual
culture
one.
right there.
Well, he also did some voices on G.I. Joe the movie.
Nice.
He was on Alf.
Well, there you go.
Not Project Alf, but just Alf. And Naked Gun, 33 and a third.
Nice.
So, he's just that guy that you know. You see him everywhere too. He's TV shows, back rolls, things like that. He was Nestor 1.
Nestor 1.
Then,
so he was the voice of all 4 of them or whatever there were?
No. Well, yeah.
Yeah, because he was the only one that spoke, right?
Yeah. The other one, the John Gowans, he was Nestor 2.
Uh-huh.
I think he's the one that had his arm taken off.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Because
that makes sense.
Yeah, they ask him, they're like, so why do you have, it takes 4 of you to do the ship, so why is there 5? We always bring a spare.
That's right.
So that's a great idea. They have a collective mind across the galaxy. That is, they all feel and hear and see and taste and everything, think the exact same all over everywhere.
Right.
It's a hive mind, which is cooler than the Borgs. You know what I mean? All right. So, but the John Gowans guy,
especially when we find out later, they can do this.
Yes. So, He was on. Well, this Nestor too. He was on Star Trek: The Motion Picture,
Fair.
Logan's Run, and he was just in Oppenheimer.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. Then you got Steve Davis. He's the greased up barbarian dude that Kamen has. That has the spear and actually gets to fucking use it and impale two dudes with it. He was in The Sword and the Sorcerer, The Mutilator, and The Curse.
Oh.
So he did some pretty shit movies. But still, he's a legend because he threw a fucking spear in a space battle.
Yeah. And someday we'll have to do Sword and the Sorcerer.
Oh no! I know. Yeah. Because there's somebody else that's in there too. I think the Zed was.
Yeah.
I think he was on that. So Kelvin, the two little beings, right?
Uh-huh.
See, they didn't even try with the fucking names, right? They just call them Kelvin because it had to do with heat.
Yeah. Oh, 100% do that.
It was a measure of temperature.
They didn't have time for that. They didn't have time to be making up shit people have to remember.
Well, this dude, Lawrence Myers, he was on Dick Tracy. I feel bad for him on that one.
The movie, Dick Tracy?
Yeah. And
sorry, I should speak in the microphone.
And he was also on Return of the Living Dead 3.
Okay.
Then the other Kelvin, Laura Cody, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was a voice on Akira, Rover Dangerfield. And she was actually on This Is Spinal Tap. So she's had a pretty good run. Did a lot of anime.
She also did the voice on Metal Gear Solid 2, which was the best Metal Gear Solid in my opinion. And like one of the later ones, like the one that came out with the PS3 or something.
Yeah. Well, Earl Bowen did fucking voices for all the animated Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
TV series. Video games, all kinds of shit. The dude was all over the place.
Yeah.
Then we go down to Lynn
Nikes.
What?
She was also a voice on Vampire Hunter D, dude.
See?
Oh
it
my
was
God.
just nothing but anime
I knew she was
credits.
on like all those Robotech kind of ones. I just didn't know that she was on. And I say that like, I think that Gundam, she did those movies too.
Yeah, she wasn't on, what was that? That other one? I don't even know.
Doesn't matter.
There's a lot.
Yeah. There's I was surprisingly a huge list. I didn't realize she was that much.
Right.
In the anime.
Nell, the voice of the ship,
Mm-hmm.
she really didn't have a lot of credits. She was in a movie called Tick, Tick, Tick and one called Faces.
Most important fact for you, I would assume, would have been that her last acting role was on your favorite show, Murder, She Wrote.
Well, if you go out on Murder, She Wrote, that's all you got to say.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
Yeah. That should be worth a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
That's right. That's how you go out.
5872 Wilshire Boulevard,
Yeah.
block 12. In the corner somewhere. I was like, dude, she died on after Murder, She Wrote. She didn't even get to see her performance.
Yeah.
Great. Then, okay, now the blind guy, Zed.
Yes.
Which he's playing the soothsayer, just like in all of those other movies. The old man that lives out in the middle of nowhere,
That's
right?
right.
He was on a lot of shit. Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, fucking True Grit, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Superman and the Mole Men, the old school. Yeah, we're talking like old shit. Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And Conan the Destroyer. 2 movies right there that we've done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Check those archives.
And then we have Marta Kristen. She played Lux, which is, I'm thinking Lux is the one that George Papard was like,
Yeah.
She was in Beach Blanket Bingo.
Oh, there you go.
But she was also Judy Robinson in Lost in Space.
Oh, well, there you go. Now everybody
Yeah, pretty cool.
that's like 40 or older knows who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Everybody else, yeah.
The last 2 really don't have a lot of credits either. Julia Duffy, she played Moll. She was on Designing Women, and which, Sugar Bakers. Come on.
Let's go.
Then you got Dumb and Dumberer. And When Harry Met Lloyd, she was on that one. She was somebody's, I think Lloyd's mom or some shit. that's how I felt about it too.
Yeah.
And the last credit that we really got on the whole thing is Eric Morris. He was Finn, but he was on Hogan's Heroes.
Oh, nice. Was he a main on Hogan's Heroes?
I don't think so. He might have been. I don't know. I didn't
do that much research into it.
I didn't watch that much Hogan's Heroes.
Watch a little bit on the TBS or WGN or whatever was playing.
I know nothing. But so you have, I mean, this is a good B team. You know what I mean? I would field this team if I had a movie that had a little bit better dialogue and shit like that.
Sure.
Or maybe even just for a movie like this again.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, for this
Perfect.
movie? Yeah. For $2 million budget?
Can't get.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Most of these people probably worked for Scale.
Right.
You know, SAG Scale at the time, which was like 18 a day or some shit.
Right.
Because they got to eat from the craft food service table.
That's right.
And they could pay the rent. You know what I mean? So I don't even know how long this took to film.
$1.
Oh.
I mean a day. No.
Well, what's so cool about
I don't know either.
I like the high definition has kind of ruined the mystical air about these movies like this because you get to see how they were put together. Like Shad has a deal where he's fixing some targeting computer or some shit. But basically, it's a window wiper. You know, they brush snow off. And it's backwards and it's painted red. I don't even know what it is. Their tools are weird. They still use 8 tracks. It's just the amount of time that it had to. They didn't really have a lot of sets.
Right.
Didn't have to. Like Valkyrie's set in her ship was just her sitting down.
Right.
You know, tits out. Sador's was, I think he was the biggest one.
Right.
He had the whole big ship with all the mutant fucking clones or whatever. What? They were like genetic mutations.
Yeah, like they just kept putting stuff in a bucket. Like,
yeah. But like, here you go.
Then create a person.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
This guy can't control the volume of his voice. So I think I'm going to make him my captain.
And we should have, I guess, when we were doing the cast and everything, supposedly Bill Paxton was a carpenter that was employed by this.
James Cameron.
Yep.
Right there. Well, two of the most famous actors ever, Bill Paxton and Harrison Ford, both carpenters.
That's right.
Got hired.
You know who else was a carpenter? Jesus.
Oh, you know what? That's pretty good. Yeah. I met him one time. No, but so I like the world.
Yeah.
They're the people. They're going to this one planet. It's called Akira.
Yes.
They're Akirin.
Yes.
Which is weird. They have somebody that acted in Akira.
Yeah, I know, right? I know about Akira.
Yeah. So, I mean, we basically summed it up when we were like Seven Samurai.
Yeah,
meets
100%. Yeah. So, yeah, you have this peace-loving planet. They're doing a wedding. I don't think we're to the wedding yet, but
Not yet, yeah.
Yeah.
But Sador's, he goes through and is he getting all their natural resources?
Yeah, basically he's just going planet to planet.
But this place, he wanted it to be their home base.
Right.
Because of the air quality and everything like that. He's like, one of the mutations was like, oh, it's perfect for us.
Right.
He's like, oh, all right, let me go Skeletor this shit real quick. So he comes down and he's fucking literally like talking, in front of him. They're like, whoa.
Like an image of him appears, yes.
Yeah, right underneath the schnutz of that ship.
Like Galactus.
Right. So we don't know
Used
anybody.
to in the 60s.
Yeah. We don't know anybody. We don't know what the fuck's going on, right?
We don't know that.
There's no opening scroll or anything like that. Kind of tell us what's going on. We just get to see this big giant ship, just like Spaceballs.
Yes.
And he's there. It's fucking cool. And so he's going to use this as his home base so he can attack everywhere else. I don't know. Does he only have one ship?
Just the one big giant ship.
Right. Well,
It has lots of little ships in it.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And they all fly the exact same way. It's
Well, yeah.
so crazy.
Yeah, that's how it works.
One side only.
$2 million budget.
With some of that, you can see that they have so much, and I'm wondering if they would have been rolling 3 or 4 different cameras at the time, different angles, then they could use more.
Well,
they use the quick cuts in this because the editors are like, fuck.
Well, and they filmed this at Corman's, like, estate, the production company thing, you know? So, like, you would think they would have had access to as many cameras as they needed.
If I had a shoestring budget on there, that would have been one of my considerations. Okay, with these special effects shots, instead of just one to kind of get by, let's film it from all angles. And then we'll cut, chop, do whatever we need to, and then we can show it from the other side.
Right.
The actual original Star Trek did the same fucking shit that everybody else does. They only filmed one side.
Right.
And then they reversed it for the other side. So one side of the actual Enterprise was actually painted.
Right.
The other one wasn't. The nacelle in the back. You know what I mean?
Nor did it need to be.
Yeah. I watched it on Adam Savage's channel. I thought it was pretty cool. Because the fucking Starship Enterprise is huge, man.
Sure.
It's a big, big prop. So I'm kind of hoping that this was a pretty big prop too. Like the Roger Young from Starship Troopers.
Oh. Do you think the one with the ship with the big boobies, do you think that's like giant? The booby ship?
Yeah, I bet you it's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
Well, come on. I mean, you got to make it life size. You're showing off some fucking great tits, right?
I was leading in, so yeah.
You got some fucking great tits. I mean, shit. I'd fly that thing.
Come on, Nell.
Yes.
Let me climb inside you.
But basically, who's on this planet are the Akirans,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
John Boy and his family, right?
And they don't believe in hurting people, and because they love the Varda.
Yes, the Varda, which is a religious textbook.
Yeah, it's like their tenets, their Bible, their whatever.
Gotcha.
You know?
They make
What's
several.
the Varda? What's the first rule of the Varda?
Yeah,
or whatever?
yeah. But they also use the same, like, robots shall not harm humans.
Yeah.
You know, they use the Asimov, rules of robotics.
Sure.
They take a lot of liberties with everything.
Absolutely. It's their world. They can do what they want.
Well, I mean, even Sador at that point is like, bring out the snipers.
Yeah.
Let's fucking take some of these motherfuckers down.
Yeah.
So
He's
know.
like, let's make sure they understand what's going to happen.
He's like, I'm going to be back in 7 cycles. When your son cycles 7 times. Okay. So I guess it was he called it a gas giant too.
Yeah.
Something like that. So basically 7 days. You know what I thought too would
Depends on how long their days are.
Exactly. This is where I was going with that too, because it would have been shitty if a day was 15 minutes.
Right. But it would have worked out in their advantage so much better if it was like 3 months.
Yes, I know. He would have had time. Well, the Akirans, they are 100% hippies. Pretty much.
Yeah, non-violent little communist community. It's great.
That's very brainwashed into the Varda.
The Varda.
The Varda.
Yeah.
So they come down, and of course, they're sitting around, they're dealing. You have the one dude that's like, we're all gonna die. You know what I mean? That dude was being a dick. And he even gets killed being a dick, too. He, runs up to George Papard, and he's like, we're gonna die! Pew pew! It's like, later, dude.
Later, man.
So they're around their big conference table, and they're like, well, we don't have any weapons. We don't have nothing. So what are we going to do? We only have one ship, and the old man's blind that can fly it. He's like, whoa, wait a minute. Shad can do it. And Shad's like, yes, I will do this. I will go out there, even though I have no idea what's going on in the world.
At all.
Right in front of my face or out in space. I don't know where the fuck I'm going. So basically, he enlists himself to hop in Titty Ship. And what do we call that? Mount Rushmore, the ship? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something. I don't even know what they called it. Nell.
Mount Babubius.
Yeah, Mount Boobius. Mount Babubius. So he gets out into space, and they left some people behind, and those dudes are like,
like, I want to do this. I want to do that.
But they allude to this one thing. He's like, oh, you remember what happened to Lobo, right?
Yeah.
Now Zador's wearing his left foot.
That's right.
So at that point, I'm like, how is he going to put that around his neck? What is he going to do?
Yeah.
So I didn't have any idea what Zador was at that time.
Why would you?
Right.
You don't.
Shit. All I know that he must have gotten scarred, or that was his planet's birthmarks.
Yeah,
I don't know,
sure.
something like that. It was probably a battle scar. From the sounds of it, Sador is one of those guys that has multiple parts everywhere.
Yeah.
From everybody. Probably a eunuch. Probably got that blown off. In the Battle of the
But he might
Panda.
have somebody else's, so
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah, you never know. He might have picked the bigger one. So Shad's out there. He's trying to fire on these people because he's on his way to go see Dr. Hephaestus, which Hephaestus is the largest, or a close friend of Zed, which Zed is the blind man that owned the ship and everything like that. So it's been years, since anybody's been out there. So he said, just drop my name, man. Just tell him Zed, he'll remember.
He'll know.
Yeah, just fly out to these coordinates and get as many weapons as you can. And it's like, okay. So they go out to another big ass ship, right? But it's just full of androids.
Yeah.
And
it's a little bit like Robin Williams being in the toys.
yes. but it's his battle suit, Shad's battle suit. He's fucking Teddy Ruxpin.
100%, dude.
They should literally rename the movie Teddy Ruxpin Reads Science
Wasn't
Fiction.
this pre-Teddy Ruxpin, though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Somebody
so
saw that.
It was like, that's the design I'm looking for.
I want Shad from beyond the planets.
As a bear
Yes.
that sings when I put a cassette in his back.
And just moves.
Yeah.
But
Sells
that's so
stories.
funny. Yeah, but that's so funny, too, because he was a robot. Teddy Ruxpin is a robot.
Yeah,
He was a tape robot.
Yeah.
But then you go in and there's nothing but these droids everywhere. So you get to see this one woman working on it, but she's Orgo, right?
Right.
And so they send a car to pick him up. He sits down. It's like, cooking is.
It like chokes him out.
Yeah. She's like, oh, you have a bad voice box? And open it up. He's like, no. You're warm. And even the other, her assistant android is just, and you get to hear the drill sound every 5 seconds. And
Absolutely.
You don't really need to hear it.
No,
I
but
know
that's
they're a
okay.
robot.
Yeah.
And the robot champion of the whole thing was the Doctor robot.
Okay.
So basically, Shad's there to get to meet with him so he can get some weapons. He finally gets an audience with him.
Right.
Home dude, Dr. Hephaestus, is like, no, you're not leaving.
You're going to mate with my daughter.
Yeah, you're going to bang my daughter and you're going to have
Isn't he
kids.
like just a head?
Yeah, at that point.
Yeah. So the main dude, the bad Hephaestus, he's not a bad guy. I shouldn't say that.
Not really.
He's a obstacle.
Yes.
Basically.
Well, he just wants to trap Shad in the bridal suite or whatever. What do they call it? The mating chamber?
The mating chamber, yes.
Fresh sheets. Well, thank God. Those have been on there.
When was the last time?
Like 60 years. But when they open him up, and I mean, it's just the head sitting on top of like, I don't know, a wet bar.
Yeah, right. That's a good analogy. I like that.
It was fucking awesome. And he's like, well, you're not going anywhere. So they basically tackle him. And of course, homegirl already is like, goosh.
Yeah.
Like, holy fuck. I'm gonna
John
get some.
Boy.
Yeah, I'm going to get laid
Get a
today.
little Shad.
But yet she doesn't even know what it is.
No.
So she sends a robot to go into the fucking force field barrier, right?
Yep.
And he's like, then he escapes. He's like, come with me. But then she decides that she's going to follow him anyway.
Right.
So she's the first recruit.
That's right.
So
One down, six to go.
He's on his way to somewhere else, right? then he runs into Cowboy.
Yeah.
Cowboy's just, singing his country songs, his campfire songs.
And he's about to get jacked.
And he's like, please help.
Yeah, they're like jacking his load, like these other two ships. Like, and he's just like, Mayday.
Yeah. Mayday, need some help. He's like, obviously, he's like, he didn't need any help, but he didn't have any ammunition.
Right.
So the computer's talking to Shad, like, yo, you gotta fucking attack, bro.
Right. And Shad's like, but the first tenant or the first law.
She's like, you gotta do it.
Varda.
And then he has one in his sights, and he's like, I can't shoot him on the back. And she's like, what? Start shooting. So she kills him. And then he starts getting a taste of it. And he's like, all right, let's go. So he starts shooting. He meets Cowboy. Cowboy's a fucking trucker drunk.
Yeah.
But then they find out that the planet exploded.
Yeah.
That Sador was going to, that Cowboy was going to, because he was bringing weapons.
Right.
Fucking jeez.
Perfect.
Yeah,
we need some weapons, it turns out.
Exactly. Hephaestus didn't give weapons.
Yep.
But he had paid for weapons, and he doesn't have enough fuel to bring it home. So he's like, they're yours now, man. He talks about battles with him and everything. And he's like, ugh. Okay, well, meet me in the Lambda Zone with the other Lambda Zone chick, right? Yeah. So... there we are. That is those three. Whenever Homegirl gets to the Lambda Zone, she runs into a weird Star Trek. His eventual wife, or girlfriend.
Oh,
what's her name?
It's a silly name.
Nanalia.
Nanalia wants to Nanalia.
Yeah, she's waiting in this weird kind of cockpit. I like their tech. It was almost like being in a sound booth. Yeah, at a recording studio.
Absolutely.
Like, ooh, good acoustics in here. This is pretty nice. Here. Oh, you hear that shit over there? Damn. But
sound clean.
Yeah. So they had a lot of really cool aesthetics with everything. Sure. Looked cool. And her ship was pretty cool. So she runs into that, color spiral thingy or whatnot. And that's when home dude, what's his name? Cayman.
Cayman comes, yeah.
And he's the Sleestack of space.
Yes.
And
he's a less cool Bosk.
Right. He's like Bosk's second cousin, brother's roommate, twice removed or some shit like that, right? So he's there and he's like, well, we're gonna feed you to this because we harvest the protein off of this shit. Look at my man slave. And she's like, whoa, this is too hot. And the Kelvin dudes, because they're little bitty,
they're just little short dudes,
heat radiators.
Yep,
that's all they do. So we don't really know much. And of course you got so we got another, because she mentions he's like, I don't give a shit about you. I know where I could sell you. Right. Cayman's like, well, I'm gonna make some money off of that ass, right? And she goes, well, I'm hiring mercenaries. Oh, okay. Well, what do I have to do with that? And she's, well, what was it? It was like, what do they have to offer me? And she's like, oh, they got riches. And he's like, whatever.
I know that. He's like, I know that planet. They don't have anything.
Yeah, I've been there.
And then she says it's against Sador. And he's like, Sador!
Oh, yes, I'm fucking on it.
He's like the Drax of Sador.
But he's the last of his kind, too, I think.
Like Drax the Destroyer.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So is all of that shit coming back. So
Thanos, Sador. Yay.
They're on their way through. Mm-hmm. They're in the Lambda Zone. They're just kind of chilling.
The Lambda.
Yeah. Cowboys arriving in the Lambda Zone. And now it's time to go to that gambling planet.
Yes.
So they go to the gambling planet. The gambling planet's pretty much a wasteland.
Yeah. It's like if 70s Vegas was like buried.
Yes. It was underground, so it didn't cause attention.
Yeah.
But he even goes in there, and this is how green Home Dude is. It's like the dial a drug.
Oh, I know.
And he clicks it, and he's like, puts his tongue out like, no. I mean, he was literally going to take fucking drugs from a machine.
And he has no idea what it is.
Exactly. And he's just, it's like he drinks a little bit from Nestor, too.
Yeah.
Which Nestor, didn't he meet Nestor before he got there? I think it was.
Well, it might have been.
But we'll talk about the Robert Vaughn part. So he goes in there, and this is pretty much the best part of the whole movie, really.
They have like the peep show robot.
Yeah. Which it opens up and it's all slimy. He's like, hey, whoops. So it's like, they have like the sex robot behind a screen that hasn't moved in fucking 50 years.
Yeah, something.
It's gross. And then Robert Vaughn's back there, already got a gun on him and everything's surrounded in cadmium.
Yes.
and flugel crystals or whatnot, whatever the fuck. And he convinces him. He's like, yo, come fight for me. After he's like, so you kill people? Yeah, what else would I kill?
Right.
He's got no fucking scruples.
He's like you said, the ultimate merc.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
I mean,
there's money involved. Let's go.
He's going to do it. He has no past. He has no future. He doesn't give a fuck at the time.
Right.
So he's like, he said, all we can really offer you is shelter and food. Shelter and a meal or some shit like that. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I need. Because there's a bounty on my head in 12 systems. Don't you know?
So then
you.
So we get badass Gelt.
Gelt. He's the shit too. I mean, he really has kind of like the open holster on his gun. I mean, everything's pretty freaking cool, right?
Yeah.
So let's go back to the Nestors.
Yes.
The Nestors. I mean, we did talk
You're
about
right. We did
about
skip over the Nestors.
Yeah, we did talk about them a little bit, how they're a collective hive mind, like the Borg.
They kind of look like Data in the face.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But they have a third eye
Yeah.
that's painted on.
Yeah.
I don't
actually
even
do.
think it was supposed to be real.
Yeah.
If it was, that would have been cool as shit, too.
That would be better.
But they're all connected, and they all fly one glowing ship.
Yep. And takes 4 of them to fly that ship.
They bring a 5th for a spare.
That's right.
This is basically, that ship is the connective part to Repo Man, which we just did.
Oh.
Because, it's
Yeah.
the same glow.
Yeah, there you go.
But that's how it ended up.
Sure.
That right there is the Nestors. You know what I mean? Now we figured it out. That's where it goes.
And they're nesters because there's more than one there in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the scene that is pretty confusing to me is, why do they give him a blue drink?
I don't know.
And he's like, pretty good. He just takes it. He doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
And Home Dude's like, we don't want to be bored to death, so let's go hang out with you guys.
Yeah. He's like, we just want something to do.
Okay.
We've been chasing you to find something to do.
Right. So they basically join up because they're bored as shit.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, they want to fight. They've heard about it. Everybody in the galaxy's obviously heard about it.
Right.
We don't even know how many sun cycles it's been.
We don't.
don't think they
There
ever
is no
even say.
tracking of any time in this. Till the end when he shows up.
Right. I mean, Papard gets talked into it.
And there is that part where, I think we've already passed that part where the 2 people that are guarding.
Oh, yeah, they go to the wedding.
Yeah. Yeah, the 2 people that are guarding the planet, and they're told to leave there, and then he's like, I want to go down there, blah, blah, blah.
They're only Akirans.
Yeah.
So they go.
They
basically
take their ship
one.
down there.
Yeah. And they capture one woman,
Right. Kill a bunch of people.
kill a bunch of people, bring her up there, and we don't really get to see much after that.
Nope.
It wasn't a good time. So basically, they're arriving close to the planet.
Yeah.
But before they get there, they're all meeting up. Here comes Valkyrie. She's like, wee, pew, pew, pew. She kind of plays with them.
Yeah.
It's more of it's a Valkyrie game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she's like, hey, she fires a blank round at them. And she literally is like, yeah, I want to come fight with you. I've heard about your deal. I'm a Valkyrie. This is what
Warrior
I do.
race.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And he's such a bitch about it.
He's like, you emasculated me, and because of that, I don't want you on my team.
Get away. And then they all meet up, right? Gelt shows up at that end. Gelt's got a cool ship, and that ship is actually used in something
A
else.
bunch of that space footage was used in a bunch of other movies.
It's like his ship, Gelt's ship, is very 100% familiar to me. I'll remember it. Not the inside, because the inside was like, what? It was like it was a lounge, a smoker's lounge.
It was a lounge. Yeah, so they reused a bunch of the footage in Space Raiders, Star Quest II, Vampirella, The Fantastic Four, Dead Space, and Forbidden War.
There you go.
So you may have seen it in any of those things.
Ah, shit. If you only had $2 million to work with.
And a clip from the film is shown during the movie theater fight scene at the end of Bachelor Party.
I immediately thought that too. I was like, oh shit, that reminds me of Bachelor Party.
There you go.
Where the chick's like, whoa, this 3D is great.
Yes.
She gets punched. Whoa. Because right before that, she's like, this sucks.
Yeah.
How could they not tell a fucking bus drove through there? Which is a connection to the A-Team movie when they do the same thing.
There you go.
Oh, shit. So we got them all.
Yeah.
They end up running into the dudes that are left behind.
The two guys?
Yeah, the mutants.
Yeah.
The hairy mutant dudes or whatnot. Whoever the fuck they were. Because I couldn't find a credit on them.
Yeah, I couldn't either.
But I one of them looks very familiar. It looks like the guy on the right-hand side reminds me of Inconceivable.
Oh,
He really does.
Okay.
If you look at his lower jaw and kind of the way his nose is, I'm like, he's the one that
Could have
does
been.
Lobocon. Yeah. Makes that comment.
Yeah.
He's not the shitty one. So they're getting into
Yeah,
this.
it's really bad when the one's like, he's kind of a shitty one of us. You know, did you get that vibe? He's like, yeah, this guy's a little crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're the bad guy. Hold on a minute.
Whoa.
Where is this going?
Yeah.
Get me this woman over.
Yeah, I mean, we've only really gotten to see a few little Sador things.
Right.
The reason why he destroyed that other planet is because they did destroy their emissary. They dusted him.
Right.
Sador, his makeup is so weird to me in
What
this movie.
What is the weapon that they use? The interstellar.
Oh my god, it's something so cheesy. Yes, it's almost like Interocitor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like the Star Killer from.
Yes, it's a
Except
planet
it's
destroyer.
like yeah.
It's a Death Star.
It's a Death Star, but it's on his ship like a cannon that he can just pull out.
Right. So that's how you destroyed that one world that Cowboy
Yeah.
was going to.
Right.
They were getting close to, you know.
Absolutely.
They refused to give up. They were asking for weapons, and then he blows them the fuck up. So he's basically, they get into that dogfight in space, right? And they're pretty much trying to flee, but the woman that they stole, kidnapped from the wedding, comes out and starts fucking with their controls.
Yeah.
You know, to fucking...
She's like, fuck this.
Yeah, she's
I'm not
like,
going to be a little damsel in distress.
I'd rather die
That's right.
than live through this, you know? So, yeah, so they get them destroyed. Valkyrie, you know, is kind of in the back. Gelt, he's the one that kills them.
Yeah.
Gelt goes around and he's like, pew, 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 pew.
He kills everybody.
And he's fucking badass,
Mhm.
right? Until he gets killed.
Then he gets all killed.
So, before, and this is them, this is even before Sador shows up.
Yeah.
Because they got to do the ground stuff, right? Because
Right.
Papard, Cowboy, he actually agrees to help them learn how to use the weapons.
Right, because they don't know how to use them.
Have no fucking clue, right?
Yeah.
So,
He's like Tom Cruise to the samurai.
right. right.
Wait a minute. No, that's
There was another movie called The Last Samurai that one of these dudes was into.
weird.
And it's not the same one. It was
But
like
he didn't really teach them. He taught the Japanese army how to
Yeah.
use the guns.
He just is like,
And
hey,
then he was
point
like,
this.
hey, I should be a samurai. Let me hang out with you guys. Thanks
Right.
for not killing me. Anyways, that's a different movie.
Yeah. So they use a weird tone system
Yeah.
to create a valley tunnel. What the fuck was that? He calls it a graveyard.
Yeah.
The largest graveyard, you know? And I'm thinking, okay, how did they use those tones? She's like 3 degrees, 3 more degrees,
Right.
3 more degrees. I was like, where does all the excess go? Is that the floor? I don't know. Because it was very well done.
Yeah.
What they did. Whatever their technology was this shit.
I mean, it was accurate.
Yeah. To a fucking a fine point.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
there's no shelters. So, because when they show up, it's just like in all the other ones, all the villagers are hiding because they don't know. I mean, if you had somebody like Valkyrie show up, right, or the Saint Exum, you'd be like, "Holy shit, who is that?" I became a man again during this movie.
There you go. There you go.
I hit my second phase. But yeah, so they're all there. They all show up, and the Cayman dude's like, "Hey, welcome us! I am the Zorn." Just watched that movie the other day. So they come out. They're insulted a little bit, but they're like, "No, come on out." They get everything ready, and then it's time. So they must have had like at least a day.
Yeah, because if they don't do what they're supposed to do, it's the stellar converter he's going to use on them.
That's right.
That's right, to blow up their planet. The stellar converter.
That is fucking lame.
converts star power to a beam of light that can destroy a planet, I guess.
Or it converts a planet into nothing.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know the science.
Yeah,
they don't really explain it very well.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. It converts, matter into explosions.
It's cosmic rays.
It's a big gun. Yeah.
Use cosmic rays to power it. Yes. Let's go.
So basically, they're ready. They send in the ground troops because they've had their aerial battles.
Yes.
Valkyrie was out there. She shot a couple of people. This is before Home Dude dies too, because it was the very first skirmish that they have. Yeah. Zed and everybody. Pretty much.
A bunch of people die right there.
Yeah. And whenever they send in the ground troops, that's when everybody starts to get wiped out.
Yeah.
And they use the sonic cannon or something.
Yeah, sonic cannon, but you got to send in the Nestors for that the Kelvins.
Yeah.
Because the Kelvins, they don't have ears.
They don't have ears.
And they can also, apparently just disintegrate people and fuck up tanks.
Yeah.
Which is what they do, and then they die.
It was fucking awesome.
Because they expended all their energy.
Were they dead, or were they like...
said they expended all their energy. I take that as died. Like, when I expend all my energy, I'm done.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they're rechargeable. We don't know. That technology probably wasn't around in 1980.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They were rechargeable dudes. So you just throw them somewhere and let them heat back up,
You got like a converter you throw them in.
Pop them
like
into
a little clone thing.
Yeah, you just put it on one finger on each side. You put the jumper cables right on their palms.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I'm here now. But yeah, because...
Do you have to put one upside down? No.
Positive, negative.
That's right.
But see, Nestor doesn't really get into the fight until a little bit later.
Yeah.
So they're basically losing, pretty much.
Well, them breaking down the sonic cannon helped.
Yeah,
tank.
You see those people when they first deploy it. The dude's like, and blood coming out of his ears, and
I love it. In the thought that John Boy is running with his hands over his ears, and that's stopping whatever's. What?
Yeah, no.
I don't think so. Not if blood is coming out of that guy's ear right next to you.
Yeah, no shit, right?
What? I don't think that's how this works.
Well, this is the second appearance of...
I had my AirPods in.
I had my AirPods in. Dad, jeez. The best extra. He has the curly hair. He's one of the Akirans that has that really nice perm.
Yes.
He was on the very first part where they come down, and then whenever they're picking up the Kelvins, he leans over one of them, right? And he's going to help some dude pick it up, but that dude just picks up one Kelvin. Then he puts his hand over on the other one, and then that dude lifts him up. So you just see this dude,
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, so he just leaves them underneath both of the Kelvins while they pick them up, and he turns around. I'm like, that fucking genius. Yes.
Genius.
That was the best one. There was another extra that was really good too, but I'll figure it out. But yeah, we get into the fight, and that's when the second fight is wherever Orlok or whoever the fuck his name, Quopeg, throws the spear.
Yeah. Oh, and goes through
impales
three people.
Impales two dudes, right?
Yeah,
He's like, la, 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 la. That would have been awesome. But that's the only thing you get to see that dude do.
That's all he does.
He just throws one spear, and he's like, all right, guys, I'm out.
I don't know. That was a pretty good team up, though. You think of how they originally found those people. I would like to see the adventures of Dollar General Bosk and the Kelvins.
Cayman, Quopeg, and the Kelvins.
Kelvins, yeah, there you go.
That would be an interesting...
Yeah, and I should have remembered Cayman because that's a lizard. We don't stray far.
Lazy. But that's the name, and that's the name of his fucking people, too.
Yeah, and well...
We're Caymans, and my name is Cayman.
On my planet, I'm called Cayman.
It is our surname.
Of the clan Cayman.
Of the clan Claymans. So yeah, the Kelvins take them out. Well, we did gloss over the scene where they were listening to Cowboy play the harmonica.
Oh yeah.
And
what are you eating?
Yeah, eating hot dogs.
And that's great, dude. They do a good job of when he takes a bite, they all start chewing.
Right.
And then they all smile.
They're like,
this is not meat.
That's what we call it on Earth. I was thinking of how they would do that, right? Because it's got to be like timed right, and I guarantee you they had a mirror in front of it.
Oh, I'm sure.
To where they're all looking at the mirror because they were looking across, right? But so the Kelvin already had a plan. They let one of their dudes get caught.
Not the Kelvin, the Nestors.
Nestors, yeah. One of the Nestors got caught, so he could go up to the ship. So Sador's up there, right?
And he's the backup,
yeah,
by the way.
Yeah, he's expendable.
Yeah.
So basically, he's up there, and that's when, they're like, are you awake? And he's like, yeah, I can hear you. They're all like sitting there, and Sador needs a new arm, right? So he grabs one of the Nestor's arms. He only got 3 fingers for some reason.
Yeah.
They could do 3 fingers with them, but not with fucking Cayman.
Right.
They got like a fucking glove horn, whatever the fuck that was, right?
Somebody's vision.
Right. And I was like, oh man, that's so cool. It's so different. Doesn't make sense, does it? Evolution's weird, man. So they basically, because they're all connected, they're even connected to the hand.
That's
and
right.
The arm. So, which I don't.
At first, I don't know why they started doing, why wouldn't they just go ahead and just cut his neck right away? And that'd be the end of it.
Yeah, just grab it and he'd
Instead,
be like,
he's like, oh, let me do I'm doing some sort of you're playing baseball or something.
He's looking for it. He's like, where is it? Where is it? What am I
Where
gonna do?
is neck? Oh, yeah.
Well, they show them all in unison move their hand, and then he's trying to show his mad scientist doctor, which is fucking
Because
rules.
at first, he's like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, but we need to get me another hand because guess what? I have 5. Yeah, I got 5 fingers, and this only has 3.
I want 5 on it.
So that was their desperate attempt.
Yeah.
And the whole lab scene was it was fucking weird. Like the saw that they used and everything too.
Yeah.
God, that was gruesome. So basically, I mean, that Nestor, I guess, died. I don't know.
Yeah. He did it.
So he's like, cut it off now. So they go, with the fluorescent blades.
Yeah, and then he's like, let's get them.
Yeah, and then he has no arm.
Yeah.
Well,
he's like the drummer from Def Leppard.
Yeah, well, in the very first part, he's got his arm basically in one of his overall slats.
Yeah.
Some shit like that. He's like, yeah. So basically they were like, well, we fucked up. Later, guys. Pretty much. And, and Cowboy's trying to leave. He's like, all right. I mean, he was trying to leave before the first battle.
Yeah.
So they're still going towards that final fucking showdown. Right. And of course, Valkyrie gets snuffed. Because what was it? Live fast, die young, do it well.
Yeah, something
like that. Have a good death. Live fast, die young, do it well. That's a song from MIA. But yeah. So Cowboy, he gets his because he gets shot.
Yes.
He goes up there and he's like, hey, guess what? And then he's spiraling out of control and it's like 30 seconds to impact. And so he starts, playing his little harmonica, looking at it, and boom, right? And at the same time, Home Dude is dying too. Gelt.
Yeah.
Gelt has all of that charred mammal flesh all over his face and shit. Like he wasn't going to survive. And then also Zed dies. Yeah. He gets killed. And
he takes out one before he gets killed. Not bad for an old blind dude.
With his mace.
Yeah.
He's got a mace walking stick. Pretty badass. So, of course, Home Dude's, distraught.
Yeah.
He, but, before the battle, he even Shad got a chance to get laid, too.
Yes, he did.
She was like, can you show me the ropes? Because Valkyrie's like, I would tear that shit up.
She's all about it.
She is. She's like, you don't know about sex? Stick with me, lady. They go walking off. She's like, oh. And then she asked him, like, will you show me the ropes? He's like, what do you mean?
What kind of ropes?
On our planet, it takes a man and only 2? Whoa! What is a third sex? I'm like, what the fuck? I don't even have any clue.
I don't even want to play that game.
It must have been the grand midwife or some shit. I don't know. But so I mean, he's in love with homegirl, right? She's they basically are about to end. That's when he throws all the clear maps and the, puzzle pieces off the fucking table. He's like, "God damn it. Fucking not going to win. Fuck." Right? So Gelt's dead. Valkyrie's dead. Fucking George Papard is dead. So who we have left is...
Saint X-Men?
Yeah, Saint X-Men. Yeah, X-Men. Yeah, like X-Men.
Yeah.
Saint X-Men.
Just
weird.
spelled differently.
Yeah. Well, her costumes were very, very revealing in the way that, like, the costume designer was like, "You're going to show your fucking nipple." I swear to God you are. No. Yeah.
You're gonna.
On several occasions, you're going to show it. So just have some Band-Aids handy. So she's passed. She lives fast, dies young, and she does it well.
Yeah.
Everybody's pretty much gone. And this is like basically Sador's last chance. He wants to bring out the what is it?
The stellar converter.
Stellar converter.
Yeah. But in order to launch the stellar converter, he has to take the force fields down. That's when Saint X-Men flies in there and detonates her shit.
Well, yeah, she goes up and she does that direct, like, pew, straight up. And because even the titty ship does that at one point too.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like fucking pew. Like that was the only like factual thing. I mean, in space, why can't you go any direction?
Yeah. Well, as long as you have thrusters of some sort to help propel you.
And I was thinking about that too. How does that work? If we were to have, does it mess with the molecules around the ship to move it? I know hyperspace, in its weird definition, is and the way that they do it in Dune and a lot of shit is they move space around whatever the ship is.
Well, that's a different hyperspace than like
hyperspace different, but propulsion. So
yeah.
The reason why I was thinking about it was like, where's the thrust? Where is the resistance? What are we using for resistance to have something fly and float like a flying car?
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like, where does that science meet?
So, well, there's still an opposite reaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even in space. So, like, if you released compressed gas, you would push, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same idea.
But I'm thinking about, like, what would we do here? Because the only propulsion systems that we have that use something like that is like a Harrier.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're talking about the straight up and down with you.
How would you do that in our modern world without having to carry a shitload of batteries?
Right. I see what you're saying. I'm sorry. I misunderstood what you were saying.
Yeah. The only thing that I was thinking of is like, how do you propel something against nothing, in wherever we have? Do we use in between the molecules? I don't know.
Sure.
Because we could have flying cars, but they're just going to have propellers on them. You know what I mean? And you can't put a fucking jet engine on a car. It's not the Batmobile. You can't even have a mini jet engine on a car.
Well, it doesn't even make sense.
No. So it's like, how are we going to get to the flying cars?
Got you.
This movie just put it in my head.
Right.
Like, how am I gonna do this? I'm gonna solve it.
We need it now. We're like 60 years overdue.
Yes. Fuck. The Jetson had it in the 60s.
Right.
We didn't.
No. Nope.
But that's basically, Zador ends up trying to fire the interplanetary, disruption, Giga.
The stellar converter.
Yes. And
Uncle Owen.
They use the what is it? The Jacob's Ladder shit.
Yeah.
The fucking globes.
The
static
lightning
globes.
glows. Yeah.
And he's like, I told you to fire. And that's when that one dude starts to have that really, he's yelling at him like, go.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Because he's like, well, and then that's when they get the ship. They get Nell.
Yes. She's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
She gets hit. So they have to figure out, because
it almost like wipes her back to like
factory settings.
Yeah.
Pretty
like
much.
She calls him Zed now.
Yeah.
And she's like, the first law of Varda, and she doesn't remember what it is.
And she's like, I don't.
And he changes it.
Yeah.
He's like, means fight a greater power with their own power, or whatever he says.
Yeah, use their power against them.
Yeah.
which is kind of weird because they just parked the ship on the side of the other ship.
So basically what he's doing, though, is like they're tractor beaming him in because he's like, take him alive. I want him alive.
No scratches.
Yeah. And they're like, well, we're just going to thrust into the beam, right?
Yeah.
And she's going to self-detonate.
Once
But
they
like,
get close.
they're what I will give Danelia and John Boy Shad credit. They were ready to go. They're like, this is how we're doing it, and this is how we're going out. And she's like, Nell's like, get in the projector.
yeah. Get
Or the projectile.
Yeah, get into the projectile, and then
And he's like, there's a projectile?
huh?
Like,
Yeah.
so they were prepared. They were committed. This is how they're taking Sador out. You know
Well,
what
it was
I mean?
like it was almost like one of the Buckaroo Banzai ships. You know how they faced each other in that really closed environment. So all it was I mean, it was just like, pew,
Yep.
and they took off. It explodes the whole fucking deal.
Yep.
And Zador's like,
I'm not gonna win, man.
I wanted to live forever. That's
one
what he
arm.
says, one arm, yeah. I want to live forever. Shut up, you whiny bitch.
So they win. You know.
Yeah.
So they have to lay to rest all the other people, and they don't really go much further into the epilogue.
No, there is a part where Nanelia talks about like when they die, all the people that died, and he's like, says something about Varda says that, like, what is it? Like, a person doesn't die until everything they touched
Oh yeah.
died, blah, 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 blah.
They'll live forever.
And they'll live forever. And that's the end.
Yeah, and then you get the want to watch Star Crash? 5, 4. No, fuck. How do you get back to it? Shit. You press menu and then it takes you out. And you're like, I just wanted to watch the fucking credits. There's streaming services, and I'm going to say this, and if anybody else has ever noticed this, they trap you.
Oh, yeah.
HBO traps you. It
All
takes
of them
four.
do. Netflix does.
It takes
all
you
of them,
four menu clicks to get out of one thing. And what's shitty about HBO, I wouldn't mind if they could get some other shit right. Like if I want to watch season 3, episode 4 that I'm on, don't just automatically play it. Take me to that page so I could be like, oh yeah, I just watched this one. Go to the next one. You have to go out. You push play. You go out. And you're like, oh, fuck. And then you push play again on the same one. And then it brings up all of them.
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
The only thing I do like about streaming services is the skip recap and skip title sequence buttons.
Yeah.
Like, thank you, because especially if you're binging something, if I have to watch that intro like 17 times, like, what a waste of time.
That's exactly what I was talking about with that, inventing it to where basically you take out all the titles and everything and you put it on one long stream.
Right, exactly.
You could have just one 6-hour stream, right? That would cut it down to 5.5 anyway when you get rid of all the titles and everything. You run the credits at the end of that.
Yeah, there you go.
With everybody, and you just list what it is. Because I would sit and probably watch an entire season of The Mandalorian, in a row.
Sure.
And it just breaks for the title of the next chapter.
Right.
Fucking
There
cool
you
as
go.
shit. Why
Perfect.
the fuck not? They could have done this on But yeah.
So that's the end of old Battle for Beyond the Stars.
Battle Beyond.
Beyond the Stars. Battle of the Network Stars.
It's John Boy and George Papard. John Boy was on the Waltons, if you remember.
I think, weren't both of those on ABC?
Yes.
There you go. Let's go.
And here's George Papard smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day. He's in the smoking championship. It's between him and Kojak, otherwise known as Telly Savalas.
Kojak's like, I quit. I only do suckers.
I win. Well, you are
So,
Kojak.
Battle Beyond the Stars. What's your rating? Give me a 1 out of 10.
Oh my god. Just because of what it is and how cheesy it is, I'm going to put it at a 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to give it more because of the ambition.
That's fair. That's fair. Like you said, this is a movie of ambition.
Mm-hmm. People gave their all.
I would say I would put this at a 5.5.
Okay,
That's probably where I would put it, and that's because of, again, those just exactly what you said, that it was ambitious. They were trying to do a lot with a little. Mm-hmm. The amount of races they had in it,
yeah,
for what their budget was, like, you kind of knew it was. I don't know. It was good, but I mean, obviously, it was like a total ripoff of like Seven Samurai or
Star Wars.
Well, yeah,
in a way.
but I think more of like, Seven Samurai's Magnificent Seven. You know what I mean?
All of those
Seven,
like that.
and they were trying to be a Star Wars, is what they were doing.
Yeah, and we have it. Have you? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Have you seen another movie that has used the Seven Samurai model for space, or is this the only
for
one?
space?
Yeah, or is this the only one?
I don't know.
This might be.
Might be the only one.
I'm
Maybe
just
they
not
saw this
personally-
one and were like, "Yeah, maybe we shouldn't do that."
Yeah, we don't need to.
Yeah, it's already did it. Done.
There you go, Hollywood. There's a new idea for you. That'll be on the stars again, bitch. The resurrection of Sador.
Rebattle.
Yeah, and Sador just comes back as like a finger,
Yeah.
but they attach him on to another hand, and he becomes that person.
Oh, there you go.
That's all it is.
That's right. Battle for the Stars, or Battle Beyond the Stars 2, the rematch.
yeah.
And on the poster, I would have continue, and just have like a 7 and question mark. You know, like on the video game.
6,
5. But you'd have to choose a number, like on a poster, obviously.
Yeah. I just remember. So, 5. 4. You press it. But yeah, overall, I mean, it was worth it watching.
I mean, it's a Roger Corman movie for sure. Like, as far as budget wise, right?
Yeah.
So you know what you're getting with it.
I mean,
but I thought it was pretty well done for what they had.
Right.
You know?
there's people that like Hallmark movies. I don't.
No.
They're worse than this.
Oh, I would much rather watch this than a Hallmark movie.
But those people that watch those won't watch this. You know
Well,
what I mean?
maybe. I'm sure there's some cross pollination there, but like if we were rating Hallmark movies based on other Hallmark movies, maybe I would, you know, have some reason to like one over the other, but mostly I would just put those as unwatchable.
Pretty much.
Yeah, for me personally.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm sure there's one that sneaks on there occasionally that's good.
Like, oh my God, she's stuck in the house by herself.
Oh my God, isn't that the guy from the boxing movie Gladiator? Cuba Gooding Jr.?
No way! It's Brian Dennehy's son. Or it's the third generation Busey acting.
Yeah.
There's a new Busey out there.
Oh.
It's the Busey girl now. Because you had Gary and then you had fucking
Does she have
son.
Does she have awesome teeth?
I don't know. Yeah, she does. Fuck, man. I forgot what I just saw her on. It was something new. I was like, that's a Busey? And I think it's Home Dude's, his son's daughter. I don't know. But I know there's a new Busey on the scene.
Well, tangentially, we will not abuse you anymore with that conversation.
Yeah. We're done. I mean, if you get a chance, go to Tubi and watch Battle
Or
Beyond the
YouTube,
Stars.
but I will say that I think the quality on the Tubi one's much better.
Yeah.
So yeah, stream it. It's free.
Why not?
Worth a check out for sure.
Yeah, there's if you're 14, you'll like a couple of things a lot.
Yeah, that's right.
More than 2. But if you know of any other movies that has a ship with great tits in it, please let us know, because I don't think there's a better ship than this one. You know?
Not in the tit department.
No.
No.
No, it was curvy. You know?
Well, it's scary.
That's the kind of it had a lot of junk in the trunk too.
All right now.
Yeah. That's the kind of junk you want in a late model car.
Let us know what kind of ship boobies you like over at dropculture.com, or you can hit us up at dropculturepodcast@gmail.com. I think we're also on like some Facebooks and Twitters and Instagram.
Yeah, there's so many of them, and there's X too. I don't even know.
Oh
what
yeah,
the fuck
X
is
gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're at Drop Culture at all those things, or at Drop Culture Podcast.
We kind of turned that corner to where we're not on social media that much anymore.
But we'll respond if you put something in there for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
For sure. And if you have some ideas for other cool space opera movies you want us to do, or anything really, that's just what we did today. So, yeah.
Let
us know.
Yeah, just let us know at all of those Drop Culture locations.
That's right.
And with that, Later, dudes.
Peace.
Bow, 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 bow.
Okay.
Oh.